Hello viewers, my name is Dr. Tijinda Sunshine Dokatera, reporting for Khuluma, Africa. We're at Monomotapa Hotel where we were covering 263 Dialogue Chat 60 days post-Mugabe resignation, where we had different sectors pondering on corruption cases, how Zach was dealing with Zach is dealing with corruption cases, and let's hear some of the thoughts that were shared during the dialogue.
It would hold water. Why? Because of the environment in which we're operating in. So I want to be progressive. I want to move forward. And I want to challenge you to say, why don't you watch the space and see whether this same rhetoric song of you being factional, you being pursuing XY because of this agenda is really going to hold water. I think we need to be given some time. Yes, I do acknowledge that there have been reports of certain members who are in the present dispensation and they've been labeled as having committed X, Y, Z. Some of the cases, unfortunately, if I can say, they are already being looked into by the commission, but the others, of course, you need thorough information. It's not easy to investigate something that is very high profile. It's not easy. 15 billion, I'm glad to say that the investigation was really instituted by the previous dispensation. So we may be talking about history, but we need to now ask questions, where are we? The perception index that my colleague alluded to, yes, I want to believe that we were not yet there. The likes of us were not yet commissioners. So we are certainly going to improve. Fantastic. Because there's a plethora of issues that they look at in terms of coming up with this perception index. And I think with the current vibe that we are having now, we certainly are going to go a long way. We already are now putting in place certain measures. Policies never were in place. And policies like the bill that's going to be coming up, we as the Commission are also working on the National Anti-Corruption Policy. We may not succeed at arresting all of you, all the big fish, but I can assure you, one thing that we'll succeed on is putting in place very watertight systems and policies that will make it so difficult for you to commit that act of abuse.
Okay, great. If I could start with Mr. Mtasa. I think we've talked about the barking and the not biting, but there's also another challenge that we seem to see. Continuously, it would appear that the different institutions of state that are responsible for law enforcement around issues of corruption seem to clash. There have been several instances where we have seen perhaps an arrest that has occurred by or the Anti-Corruption Commission going forward to particular premises, and the Zimbabwe Republic Police in the past stepping in, and it appears as though they are institutional or structural processes and competition around addressing the gaps that arise when we pick up issues of corruption. What does it mean, or how effectively do you think that the state is organized to actually deliver on an anti-corruption mandate? Recently, we have seen the President's office also issue out a statement saying that they have a direct line. If any citizen wants to complain about issues of corruption or has an issue that they would like to report, they have a line where you can call directly to the President's office and actually raise that issue. We have the Anti-Corruption Commission, which is a constitutional body. We also have the Zimbabwe Republic Police, which also has its doors open for such issues. And we know, particularly now, parastatals, that there are actually internal procedures around state procurement that are meant to plug the gap and bring in different players to make certain law enforcement processes actually deliver. Sitting from ZCTU, knowing that the bulk of the public corruption is in parastatals, and seeing a collapse of the mechanism that is supposed to deliver on an anti-corruption drive, what is your take?
Thank you. First thing is that we need to ask ourselves as a nation whether the institutions are serving the state or they are stating a particular special interest. There's a conflation between ZANU-PF party and government. Many people who are public servants or who are commissioners in these commissions, they don't understand the big demarcation between the party and the state. And that is one issue that we must be talking about if we are indeed in a new dispensation, institutional reforms. Because our institutions reflect our politics, and our institutions are the guarantee for the state to function effectively and efficiently. So you see people clashing. I would have loved them clashing and picking these guys, and I would have loved, in my view, seeing the ZRP taking these people to Matapi, because the people whom we represent, if they, in the banking sector, for example, if you are short of $100, you are taken to the cells, you are taken to Matapi. So you see someone who is alleged to have committed a $2 million, $5 million crime, going in a designer suit to Zag and being pampered with bottled water and the like. So you look at it and say, is this not created to be a harbinger for these guys, for them to get nice treatment, and they talk about these issues and they are released? If someone steals a cell phone, definitely they are going to go into the cells. So the issue of conflation of party and state is the main issue. So when you see them clashing, they are not clashing on a point of, on the basis of the Constitution. The Constitution is very clear. They are not clashing on the point of principle. They don't follow the principle or ethical principles or morals. They are clashing on the basis of the people who are sending them. They are clashing on the basis of the factions that they represent and the factions that they protect. So this is the greatest area where we need to focus on, institutional reforms. If ever we have moved an inch into a new Zimbabwe, let's not lose this opportunity to make sure that a vice president cannot barge into a police station and order the member in charge to release suspects. We should not also ensure that people cannot hide behind just singing kutonga kwaro, and the police will run away from you. People are using even pictures, just drawing a picture on your car, and we are now seeing it also coming. It used to be a picture of a supposedly powerful woman, and we have now started seeing pictures of the current president. So these are the issues that we must deal with. But more fundamentally, if you are at home, apana nosingazive matsotsi emumareni mavo, woshedzera kuti mbavha ona tsotsi repamareni penyu ndoratanga kusvika kuti iri kuti mbavha tikubatsirei kutsvaga. These people who have been implicated in their reports, the NECI has reported many reports about these guys. The Kondozi has reported about the diamonds. The people are known. The people are known who are alleged to have committed corruption at Noxim, at Cisco Steel. The people whom we represent, the workers, if you are suspected of having committed a misconduct, not a criminal offense, not even corruption, you are immediately suspended pending disciplinary action or investigations. But what has happened is the people have been promoted pending investigation. And they are in Davos, some of them are in Davos, some are sleeping in the parliament, some are occupying and driving 4x4 vehicles. And you expect someone who is Aruchova Baskoro, Prince Aruchova Baskoro, to stop someone in a 4x4 with the title Minister of Child, to then say, Madam, may I investigate you? It doesn't work that way. Right. So we need to move in that direction.
So you're speaking of essentially state capture.
The state is captured.
Right.
We have just changed the faces. A new face, they were saying cabal. A new cabal has captured the state again. And we really need a real dialogue as a nation. That are we going to allow that to happen again? And if we are not careful, the new cabal may also go for another 37 years. I shudder to think about that because if I live, I will be in retirement. If I'm not so fortunate, my kids will follow the lifestyle that I lived.
So I guess the question that arises now is, do the institutions of state that we have, I put this to to Rashid and to Frank, do they actually have enough space to be able to move out of the constraints that arise from some of the political chicanery that happens, but at the same time to be able to effectively deliver on their mandate, so that we don't see the poor, the marginalized, the downtrodden of society not actually accessing the justice that they deserve?
Thank you. Firstly, there is a culture of corruption. It's now rampant. It goes down to the lowest level of our society, even in a combi, anywhere where you are, people are finding ways of trying to cut the corner. We now have this culture of corruption. But that has been perpetuated by what has happened at the highest level, at high levels of society. There's a certain group now of very wealthy young men and women in Zimbabwe whose economic activity is not known, but they are celebrities. You cannot go to their office and say what economic activity is taking place here, but they are known. You see them on social media. But to ask, what exactly do you do? What production takes place? Or how many people are employed in the business that you're in? You cannot tell. But these are what you call the entrepreneurs, right? Because they are connected in high levels of political and economic society. And these are benefiting from the fact that the procurement system within government and the public, it needs to be dealt with. The issues of procurement, they have to be dealt with. I think the first thing is to deal with issues of beneficial ownership and disclosure, right? For example, a permanent secretary in a ministry can actually procure from his own company. And you cannot even trace that company is their own. Because that company itself has got many directors with many names. The same applies if you go to Chiadzo and many other areas. That's why I think it's difficult for the Anti-Corruption Commission to clearly pin people down. Because this is a web, it's a network. And the network is political, it's economic society, it's a network. And they say if the network is not there, it's not working. Right? If you don't have that network, it's not working. Corruption is sustained by networks, and these networks are networks that include people that are of political standing. And that has to be dealt with. And there's need, obviously, to have open contracting. There's need for transparency in the process of procurement. This is a new age, right? We have access to internet, right? We should be able to say, if I want to...
We also talked to the host who was not happy with the way some of the panelists did not show up. Our fish, they were a critical factor, they were a critical part of this dialogue to hear what she has to say. Okay, I would firstly I'd like to thank you for this great debate, but I want to ask you that was it to your expectations, like how the panelists answered all your questions?
I think it was a fantastic debate. I think one of the things that's excellent about the public debate series, the 263 dialogues, is that we have an opportunity to access, public representatives or people who are responsible for, taking care of certain things in our country that ordinarily we don't have access to. So, it's good to be able to say, they showed up. But at the same time, I do think that in today's debate, it's really a shame that the Office of the Auditor General couldn't come through. And that also we didn't have the representation from Parliament, because I think Parliament also interfaces with the issue of corruption in a very unique way. In fact, most of the scandals of, on corruption and the impact of corruption on communities was actually, raised through Parliament. We remember, of course, the famous Pasmas scandal. All of that started in Parliament. So, it's important to be able to have people who can speak to the different value chain of trying to deal or eradicating the scourge of corruption in our society.
Were the invitations extended to them as well?
Yes, the invitations were extended to them, as we mentioned at the beginning of the debate. And for different scheduling conflicts, they were not able to attend, which I think is a real shame. But at the same time, I think that the citizens being able to, put their questions to the Anti-Corruption Commission. And thanks, of course, to Dr. Silikunu, who really, did a tough job against a tough crowd to respond to a very wide-ranging set of questions, talking about, the very factor that ZAC exists and what are they doing, how are they able to deliver, and whether people think it's working or not working. I think that was actually a commendable job, but it's clear that more needs to be done.
Thank you very much. So hope to see you next time on 263 Dialogue.
Yeah, I hope to see you on next time on 263 Dialogues.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right.